Hello there guys, welcome to another of my videos. So, will Jadon Sancho to Manchester United be announced today? Now, we've had some positive news coming out regarding Jadon Sancho recently. The main explanation because Borussia Dortmund have increased their deadline for the sale of Jadon Sancho. So, reportedly now we've got until the 20th of August to sign the player. It did recently say that we've only got until the 10th of August to sign the player. Now, obviously, Borussia Dortmund CEO recently come out and he denied that Manchester United have put any bidding for Sancho, and he denied that we've made any contact for the player. Now, Fabrizio Romano, who's a very reliable Italian journalist, he came out earlier on this week and he said that Jadon Sancho has agreed personal terms with Manchester United, and it did say he is set to sign a 5-year contract with the football club worth around £350,000 a week. I don't think no fee has yet come to an agreement, and like I've mentioned, throughout the course of this transfer saga regarding Jadon Sancho, it has been Borussia Dortmund's asking price that has been the stumbling block, because Borussia Dortmund have said several times that they do want over £100 million, and we have said we are not willing to meet what Borussia Dortmund are demanding. I think, we said we want to pay around 60 or £70 million up front, but Borussia Dortmund are looking for around £90 million. But Borussia Dortmund have said that they do want around £108 million for Sancho. Obviously, that would make him our most expensive signing, and it would make him the most expensive English player in history. But I think this £108 million will be paid in 3 annual instalments. Obviously, there's going to be add-ons included in the deal. Now, there was also stories coming out earlier on this week saying that Jadon Sancho's move to Manchester United could be off, because it said that we'd threatened to walk away from the deal because of Borussia Dortmund's asking price. So it literally said that talks had broken down. But negotiations between Manchester United and Borussia Dortmund earlier on this week were at an advanced stage, like Fabrizio Romano had confirmed. Now, I think Borussia Dortmund do fly out to Switzerland, is it next week, for their pre-season games. So I think Dortmund have said, we must get a deal completed by then. Borussia Dortmund have come to accept the fact that obviously Sancho does want to leave. So now they are in the market looking for a replacement for him. Dortmund have been looking at Memphis Depay from Lyon. They've also looked at Rashica from Werder Bremen. They've also looked at Jonathan Eacock from Lille. And I still believe that Sancho does want to come to Manchester United, and I've outlined the reasons why I want him to come to the football club is because he's well proven in the Premier League. He's also got a very, very good friendship with Marcus Rashford. I think he's been in regular contact with Rashford, and also too, he's predominantly a right winger, and Man United are in search for a right winger. But Sancho is a player that can score goals, he can create chances, his runs on off the ball are very, very good, and he's still got a lot of development in him because he is only at the age of 20. Now, we have been looking at quite a few alternatives to Sancho, because I will make the admission he is much cheaper solutions than him. We've recently been looking at Kingsley Coman from Bayern Munich. It did say the other week that we inquired about getting him on loan if we don't get Sancho. We've looked at Rabbi Matondo from Schalke before. We've also looked at Thiago Almeida. We looked at Ferran Torres at one point. We also looked at Ousmane Dembele from Barcelona. There were stories coming out yesterday, or was it the day before, saying that we'd put around the £49 million bidding for Federico Chiesa from Fiorentina. But it's very imperative that we get Sancho on the board because he is our number one priority target, and he has been our number one priority target for a while. I think Sancho has enjoyed 3 good years with Dortmund. I think his stats this season have been like 20 goals and 20 assists in 40 odd games in all competitions, and that's very, very impressive. Sancho has still got a contract with Dortmund till 2022. Obviously, Borussia Dortmund got him for next to nothing. They only paid £8 million in from Manchester City. But analyse his performances in the few years he's been with Dortmund, his valuation has persistently grown. He did enjoy a few years at Manchester City, but the main explanation why he left Manchester City is because he did not get any first team opportunities. And before he was at Man City, he was at Watford, and he was at Watford for several years. But if Sancho is sold in this summer transfer window, then I think Manchester City do get around £15 million due to the clause that got Sancho a move to Borussia Dortmund from Manchester City. But like I said, it has been a long-running transfer saga. Now we've got qualification for the Champions League. I said it increases our chances of getting the player. If we hadn't got qualification for the Champions League, then I don't think we'd have got him on the board. Borussia Dortmund's director's also been talking recently, and he says he hopes that Sancho can remain at Dortmund for another season. We're the only club now that are in for him anyway, because obviously Liverpool are no longer in for him. Chelsea are no longer in for him. And obviously we know that if we sign Sancho in this summer transfer window, he will be our next number 7. Obviously we have got number 7 vacant at the moment, but we have had a lot of good number 7s up and down the generations, and I think that Sancho can follow their footsteps. So that is the breaking news regarding Jadon Sancho. But even if it is announced today, it won't be like, Sancho's had his medical and he's officially signed for Manchester United. An agreement may be just made today between the two clubs. We just now need to come to an agreement on a fee with Borussia Dortmund. Like I said to you before, Borussia Dortmund have let quite a few of their players go to the Premier League in recent years. There's also players that they've let go who didn't go to the Premier League. But they have recruited some good players in recent years. So yeah, we've got to come to an agreement on a fee, but we're looking to pay around 60 or 70 million pounds up front. At one point it said we was only willing to pay 50 million for him. There were stories coming out from the German press the other week saying that we allegedly had an 89 million pound bid turned down for him. Then it said after that we'd allegedly agreed a 60 million pound fee with Dortmund for Sancho. Then there'd be like 30 or 40 million in add-ons. But we shall see. But I presume he will be our first signing in this summer transfer window and our 5th permanent signing overall under the Ole Gunnar Solskjaer era. Because obviously, so far Solskjaer's made 4 permanent signings at the football club and spent around, £220 million. Last summer brought Daniel James and Wan-Bissaka and Harry Maguire into the club. And in January bought Bruno Fernandes, and of course he got Odion Ighalo on loan. But if we do get Sancho, it will take our spending under Ole Gunnar Solskjaer to definitely over £300 million. Yeah. Now, I just want to give you the latest news on Gabriel Magalhaes from Lille, because there is huge developments on him. So reportedly now, Gabriel Magalhaes has made a decision on his future. He is going to be leaving Lille, and reportedly he wants to join Arsenal. So he's actually rejected Manchester United, and reportedly he could be an Arsenal player very, very soon. Lille have named their asking price. Lille have said that they will accept around £27 million for the player, and that is a cheap solution. Now, it did come out not too long ago saying that Gabriel Magalhaes' representatives were in the UK. I think, he's held talks with Man United. He's also held talks with Everton. He's held talks with Arsenal. Obviously, the likes of PSG and Napoli have also been interested in him. There were stories coming out from Sky Sports, was it the other week, saying that Napoli were emerged as the favourites to sign him. Napoli signed Victor Osimhen from Lille already for around £45 million. Gabriel Magalhaes is only the age of 22, very, very young. He is a centre-half, and don't forget, Man United have been in search for the centre-half, despite the fact that we have got 7 centre-halves in the team, because we are looking for someone to go alongside Harry Maguire in our back line. He has got a contract with Lille until 2023. Lille paid around 1.5 million for him from Avia. And I think he's enjoyed around 3 years with Lille and he's made around 52 appearances. He also had loan spells with Troyes and Dynamo Zagreb. So looking likely now, Gabriel Magalhaes to Manchester United is out of the equation. I think it did say though recently that we had submitted a bid for the player. We'd put around the €27 million offer in. So yeah, it's looking likely he's going to be going to Arsenal. I just want to now give you some news on Eric Bailly. According to Gazzetta dello Sport, they have said that Manchester United have offered AC Milan the chance to sign Eric Bailly. I don't think it's going to happen at this present time. Some Manchester United fans will say we need to get rid of Eric Bailly, not because he's a bad centre half, he's just injury prone. Obviously, he sustained an injury early on in the season, didn't he? He was out with, was it a knee injury for such a long time? He'd sustained the injury in pre-season last summer, and then obviously, came back in February, then played a few games. Then obviously, had a concussion in our 3-1 defeat to Chelsea in the FA Cup semi-final. So he's very injury prone. Bailly has still got a contract with us until 2022. In total in the Premier League, Bailly's made around 54 appearances for Man United and only scored 1 goal. This has been his 4th season at the football club. We did get him back in 2016 from Villarreal. We paid around £30 million for him and he was actually our first signing under the Jose Mourinho era. But obviously, Bailly's behind the likes of Lindelof and Harry Maguire, so do you think it would be the right decision for us to let Eric Bailly go? We'd probably want to recoup the £30 million at least that we did pay for him from Villarreal, or maybe we'll want to get a bit more than what we paid for him. But yeah, so that is the breaking news on Eric Bailly. But like I said, there's big decisions to be made in this summer transfer window of obviously what players we're going to recommend in and what players we are going to get rid of. Now, we're going to get rid of quite a lot of players in this summer transfer window, so obviously we are going to generate money. I give you the news obviously on my recent video regarding Jesse Lingard. There's been stories coming out saying that Jesse Lingard is up for sale. Reportedly Everton are interested in him. I think if we sell Jesse Lingard in this summer transfer window, we would probably get around 20 million or just a bit more than £20 million. Lingard has got, is it a year or just under a year left in his contract, but the club do have an option to extend it for a further year. Jesse Lingard has been at the club for several years, and to be fair to him, he has scored in his last 2 appearances for the club. Obviously he scored in our 2-1 win against Lask, and he also scored in our 2-0 win at Leicester on the final day of the Premier League season. That goal against Leicester was actually his first goal for Man United since Ole Gunnar Solskjaer's first game in charge. So that just indicates how inconsistent he has been. At one point, I think before he went, was it like a year or over a year without a goal or an assist in the Premier League for Manchester United. But Lingard wants to stay at the club because he believes he's got a long future at Man United. Solskjaer is an admirer of the player because Solskjaer had coached Jesse Lingard when Jesse Lingard was a youth player, so he knows the player very, very well. But yeah, Man United are open to selling him. And Lingard's found game time difficult anyway since Bruno Fernandes got recommended into the club and since the emergence of Mason Greenwood. Diego Dalot, I think he's another player that's on his way out of Manchester United in this summer transfer window. I give you the news on Dalot as well, didn't I, this morning. Reportedly Everton are also interested in him. Everton and Carlo Ancelotti believe they can get Diego Dalot for around £10 million. Everton are in search for fullbacks because obviously Seamus Coleman is coming to an end of his career and Everton want a replacement for him. And they had Leighton Baines, but obviously now he has retired. I don't think Diego Dalot he's the foreseeable future for Man United, and I don't think he's good enough to represent the football club. Delors has been at the club now a couple of years. We did get him in Jose Mourinho's final transfer window. We paid around £19 million in from Porto. Delors has got a contract with us until 2023. He can play as a fullback and a winger. I think he's made 11 appearances for Man United in all competitions this season, but I think he's only made like 1 or 2 starts in the Premier League because he had back-to-back injuries earlier on in the Premier League season. And he's our backup to Wan-Bissaka. Fosu-Mensah's been recently getting a bit of game time, so he's now got there ahead of Diego Delors. But I'm sure that we'd want more than £19 million that we paid for him if we do sell him in this summer transfer window. Obviously, PSG have been in for him before, and so too have Barcelona. Don't forget, Delors wasn't part of our 30-man squad for the game against Lask. But I think we give the explanation why he wasn't part of the squad, because allegedly he was out with injury. But he's only very, very young. So I think they're 2 players that are going to leave in this summer transfer window. Also too, Marcos Rojo. He's out on loan at Estudiantes. Reportedly, Rojo has had a private chat with Ole Gunnar Solskjaer, and he said that he wants to remain at Estudiantes. Rojo did join Estudiantes on loan in January. But there's no point Rojo coming back to Manchester United because obviously he won't get in the team. Obviously, Rojo's got a contract with us until 2021. We did get Rojo back in 2014 from Sporting Lisbon. I think we paid, was it around 15 or 16 million pounds for him. Enjoyed a good 5.5 years at Manchester United, made 122 appearances, was it in all competitions, and he sustained quite a few injuries as well when he was at Man United. So we need to get rid of him permanently, Rojo. We'd probably get around £10 million for Rojo, maybe about 11, 12 at the top, so we won't get that much for him. I think we also need to get rid of Phil Jones, because I don't think Phil Jones is good enough to represent Manchester United. Obviously, Phil Jones has been a long servant at the football club. This was his 9th season at the club, and he's approaching now his 10th year at Manchester United. He's been with us since the Ferguson era, and obviously Phil Jones is out with injury at the moment. Andres Pereira, he's another one. He doesn't get in the team enough, does Andres Pereira, so I think we've also got to get rid of him. Maybe Manchester United won't get rid of him, but I think, we should get rid of him. Juan Mata, keep him. I think we'll keep him anyway for next season. I know he doesn't get in the team a lot now, but when he does, he still makes an impact. Juan Mata, this has been his 6th season at Manchester United. Obviously, we got him from Chelsea back in 2014 for just under £40 million. But yeah, so players are definitely going to leave in this summer transfer window. But Solskjaer has got rid of a lot of the deadwood since he got recommended into the football club. Obviously, we saw Ashley Young leave this year. After he enjoyed 8.5 years at Man United, he went to Inter Milan. We saw Valencia leave the football club after he enjoyed 10 years at Man United. He left last summer. Smalling did go out on loan to Roma last summer, but obviously now Smalling is back at Manchester United. Solskjaer believes that Smalling does have a future at the football club, and Solskjaer did say that he was in regular contact with Smalling whilst he was on loan with Roma. Like I said, we loaned Rojo out in January. Obviously, Darmian, he left the football club last summer. Herrera left the football club last summer. He enjoyed 5 years with Man United. Fellaini left back in January 2019. He went to China. Lukaku left us last summer. He went to Inter Milan permanently. Sanchez, of course, he left us last summer. Obviously went out on loan with Inter Milan. But obviously, now Sanchez has gone to Inter Milan permanently, because it did confirm yesterday that Sanchez had joined Inter Milan on a 3. He signed a 3-year contract with them to keep it in Milan until 2023. And I think we've give Sanchez like a £9 million payoff for completing his free transfer to Inter Milan. I'm surprised that actually Man United did not demand a fee. But now it's freed up our wage bill completely, so that's very, very good. And Angel Gomez, of course, left the club last month, don't forget, after we failed to get him a new contract. It did get confirmed on Tuesday that Angel Gomez had joined Lille in France, but then immediately he got put out on loan to Boavista which is a Portuguese side, but he did actually sign a 5-year deal with Lille. So a lot of players have left since Ole Gunnar Solskjaer got recommended into the club. But, Solskjaer, I think, has said he wants to make around 3 signings in this summer transfer window, at least 3 signings, and, he's identified the areas in the squad where he does want to strengthen up, because these still areas in the squad where Manchester United are lacking. And I also believe that Ed Woodward has said that when we complete the signing of Sancho, he wants Man United to make 3 more signings. But I think, we're going to get the players that we want in this summer transfer window, because, like I said, we got qualification for the Champions League. Obviously, we finished 3rd. Not only that, we progressed to 2 semi-finals this season. We progressed to the EFL Cup semi-final and the FA Cup semi-final. And you've got to say, we had a very, very good season. It was only Ole Gunnar Solskjaer's first full season at the football club. Don't forget, earlier on in the season, we enjoyed our worst start ever to a Premier League season. At that point, Solskjaer was close to getting sacked as Manchester United manager. But basically, when we got qualification for the Champions League, Solskjaer outlined his transfer plans, and he's literally instructed our board to go out there and get his preferred targets. Our transfer budget's already been revealed. We've got £140 million to spend in this summer transfer window. But obviously, the transfer budget will increase when we do sell players. The big test for Ole Gunnar Solskjaer is next season, because next season Man United will have bigger expectations to exceed. I said, didn't I, next season our expectations will be to, challenge for the title. Obviously, this has been the 7th season we failed to mount any kind of title challenge up, and, we haven't won the Premier League since, Alex Ferguson's last season. But we have got to spend money to compete with the likes of Manchester City and Liverpool. We really, really haven't that. But Solskjaer has also got a goalkeeping decision to make. I want to put into the equation. I definitely think that Man United have got to put Dean Henderson as number 1 for next season. Because now Dean Henderson has got that experience behind him. He's enjoyed 2 successful loans with Sheffield United. He was Sheffield United's player of the season. Sheffield United are obviously now looking to sign a permanent goalkeeper. I heard that they've recently just had a bid turned down for Aaron Ramsdale from Bournemouth. Was it around £12 million? But Dean Henderson's had quite a few loan spells, with Stockport, Grimsby and Shrewsbury. He actually, began his career with Carlisle. We got Dean Henderson from Carlisle back in 2011. He was just the age of 14. There were stories coming out the other week saying that our contract talks for Dean Henderson have hit a crucial stage and his future will be clear in the next couple of weeks and all of this. And he did say Dean Henderson could be one of the highest paid goalkeepers in Europe. Dean Henderson's current contract, Man United, expires in 2022. But Dean Henderson wants to be number 1. If he isn't assured to be number 1, then he wants to leave Manchester United in this summer transfer window. Solskjaer, did recently say, though, that Dean Henderson's not yet ready to become Man United's number 1. But he did say he expects Dean Henderson to be our number 1 and England's number 1 goalkeeper in the future and that. This is what he does expect. But David De Gea, has been our number 1 for several years. David De Gea has been a long servant at Manchester United. This was his 9th season at the football club. De Gea is now approaching his 10th year at Manchester United. And Solskjaer was talking about De Gea the other week, saying that he has been the best goalkeeper in the world for the last 9 or 10 years or so. I've got to say, De Gea has had 7 good years out of the 9 years he's been at Man United, because in the last couple of years he has been a liability, reflecting on his calamitous mistakes. De Gea has made 404 appearances for us in all competitions. 300 odd of those appearances have come in the Premier League. But he has won everything domestically at the football club, and he has won individual awards, reflecting on his good performances over the years. But we definitely won't sell De Gea in this summer transfer window. But a goalkeeping decision does need to be made. It really, really does. Like I said, we're not only going to get rid of players we're going to get rid of players, permanently in this summer transfer window, but we're also going to loan some players out. I give you the news on Tahith Chon earlier on. Werder Bremen are interested in him. I think we're also going to loan James Garner out. There's a possibility chance as well that we could loan Dylan Levitt out because obviously, they want to get regular first team football. Daniel James, I think we definitely consider loaning him out because towards the end of the Premier League season, Daniel James weren't getting starts. Mason Greenwood was getting there ahead of Daniel James, and when we do sign Sancho, then Daniel James isn't going to get in the team at all. James played like 30 odd games for us in the Premier League this season, and he did well. He was a cheap solution, got him from Swansea last summer for around £15 million. Some United fans will say we need to loan Tuanzebe and Fosu Mensah out as well. Tuanzebe, though, is out with injury at the moment. He's not going to be back to the new season. But to be fair, Fosu Mensah has played quite a few games. He played a couple of games towards the end of the season. Don't forget, he did play in the last game. Obviously, Luke Shaw's not back till next season. He's out with an ankle injury. And the only element of concern about Luke Shaw is that he's injury prone. But prior to that, very, very good left back. This has been Luke Shaw's 6th season at Manchester United. We did pay around £30 million in from Southampton back in 2014 and that. But reflecting how long Solskjaer's been at the club, he has learnt a lot. He has now got that managerial experience behind him. Man United is the 3rd club in his managerial career. Solskjaer has been in the club now over a year and a half, and there is definitely positives to take from his tenure. I think definitely our recruitment has improved under him. I think Solskjaer throughout the course of this season has promoted the youth very, very well. Our record against the top 6 sides has also been very, very good. Another positive is that we have extended a lot of players' contracts since Solskjaer came in, but we've still got around 8 players' contracts that are due to expire next year, and we have got to make a decision on those players. And I just think there's aspects of our game that have improved. Don't get me wrong, there's still improvements needed at Manchester United. Like I said, I think we need to keep the ball better. We need to be slightly more clinical in front of goal. Defensively, we need to improve. Maybe our football needs to look a bit more expansive in that. But I just think now that, Solskjaer knows his best formation, he knows his best 11. He made a lot of rotation throughout the course of the season. Obviously, reflect on the injuries we had and that. But there was 5 games in a row he went with the exact same team in the Premier League, and that's the first time we've done that since February 1993. But more or less, Solskjaer has given everybody their chances to express themselves, including the young players, because when he got appointed as Man United manager, he said everybody would get their chances. But I've seen improvements. We're unbeaten in our last 14 Premier League games. We did go on a 19-game unbeaten run in all competitions until Chelsea beating us in the FA Cup semi-final. We're focusing on the Europa League now, because the Europa League is a priority for us. Obviously, if we win the Europa League, it will be our first trophy under the Ole Gunnar Solskjaer era, and plus it will be our first trophy in over 3 years. Last time we won a trophy was back in 2017 under Mourinho. We won the double, won the Europa League and the League Cup. Back in 2016, won the FA Cup under Louis van Gaal. But I think we actually are the favourites to win the Europa League. We do play Copenhagen on Monday in the Europa League quarter-final. It is our 27th European quarter-final. Like I said, probably Solskjaer will make some changes from the game against Lask. But the Europa League is a chance for us to give more of the youngsters their opportunities in that. Maybe in the game against Copenhagen, maybe Ethan Galbraith can get given a chance. Ethan Laird can get given a chance. Ethan Laird is another option at right back for us. Maybe James Garner, maybe Dylan Levitt. They could all get their chances in that. But, he did rest quite a few key players anyway, didn't he, for the game against Lask. He rested quite a few key players. But it's the right decision to do, resting quite a few key players, because obviously, if we do that, then they're going to obviously be prepared for the new season, are our key players in that. But I'm hopeful that we can win the Europa League. But like I said to Solskjaer does deserve at least another season at the club because he's exceeded expectations this season. But even if he didn't, I still believed he would have. I still believed he'd be Man United manager for next season because it is a transition period and it has been a transition period for a while. You know, put into the equation, Solskjaer's inheriting players from the Jose Mourinho era, still a few players from the Van Gaal era, and there's still matter from the Moyes era, and still a few players from the Ferguson era. But actually, the vast majority of this team is Jose Mourinho's. Like I said, in the last 7 years, there hasn't only been problems with the managers at the club. There's been problems the way the club's been run, you know, so there's been problems with the club's ownership, there's been problems with Ed Woodward, there's been a lot of problems with the club's board, there's been problems with certain players, you know. So there has been a lot of problems at the football club, and we spent nearly £1 billion on players in the last 7 years since Alex Ferguson retired. That's how much Man United have spent. And people say, reflect on the money we've spent, you know, we should be, you know, where Liverpool are, or, you know, minimum where Manchester City are. But like I've said, it is a long rebuilding process, and it's going to take, you know, quite a long time for us to get back to where we want to be. Some United fans have also said we need to give the captaincy to someone else, because there's a lot of United fans saying that Harry Maguire is not good enough to be our captain. But yeah. So anyway, guys, that's everything to update today. There will be another video coming up later on. You already know the news as well regarding Pogba, don't you? I gave you that news yesterday. So anyway, drop your comments, likes below on the channel. If you do, consider subscribe. As always, like I said, and take care. God bless. See you all again very, very soon.